Mike Sports Vibes. Thank you for vibing with me. Even enemies can show respect. That's the quote from the famous movie Troy. If you haven't seen that movie, go on Netflix and watch that movie. I believe it's still on Netflix, man. One of my favorite Brad Pitt movies. Great actor. And he played the character Achilles, right? It was the Greek army versus the Troy army. And the reason why I'm saying this, and I thought about this quote because Kevin O'Connell, what he said, to Caleb Williams after the game, this is what he said. His message, this is what Caleb Williams said at the press conference after the game. He said his message was just to keep going. Hell of a player, keep going, way to fight. He said it sucks he has to go against me for a while, but hell of a player. Excited to see me out there fighting and leading these guys. That's what Caleb Williams said. And I just was like, wow, Kevin O'Connell is not only a good coach, because we're going to even talk about his record and all that. He's a good guy. And for him to, even though it's just football, they're not really enemies, you know what I'm saying? But it's just a principle to give a opposing upcoming star quarterback of the Bears all this credit. And I think he meant it. And I think that, believe it or not, and I hate to admit this, Caleb Williams is he's potentially a very good quarterback. I know the record of the Bears ain't the best, but he showed me a lot against the Minnesota Vikings this past Sunday. Can I talk that talk? Talk that talk. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that like button if you haven't already. It's about to go down every single Sunday. We going live, so make sure you join the YouTube family. But getting back to what I was saying, when you think about Caleb Williams, right? And I'm trying not to give him too much love and respect, but I gotta keep it real as a diehard Minnesota Viking fan from Pennsylvania, Philly, everything besides football. Y'all know the vibes. I bleed the purple and gold when it comes to NFL football. But man, it took us going into overtime to beat a rookie quarterback. It took, literally, the man somehow got his team together after halftime, and they were down by 14, and they came back. So it took everything we had from the best defensive plays in overtime when Jonathan Grenard got that sack. It took us to get a field goal. It took our offense to be clutch when it counted the most, which was in overtime, to get this dub against Caleb Williams and the Bears. And I don't want to say it's a shame that he got drafted by the Bears, and it's a shame it's not the right timing for him to be drafted by the Bears because our division is so stacked, but it's great. The NFC North is the best division in football. It's the most competition, and our worst team isn't even a bad team. You know what I'm saying? Our worst team in our division is not a bad team. We got the Lions at 10-1. We got the mighty Minnesota Vikings. Yeah. Skol, baby, at 9-2. We got the stinking Packers. I don't know. I guess something about the Packers. I don't even want to say they record. I don't even want to talk about it. They won, and I thought they was going to lose, and they somehow beat the 49ers, but that's another story for another day. My point is, this is like going back to like what I said earlier in the video. Like, man, if you didn't watch Troy, y'all, man, go. You're missing out. You're missing out big time. Because I just had to talk about the movie because I'm a big fan of this movie, right? Hector was the best of the best when it comes to the Troy military. And Achilles was the best of the best when it came to the Greek military. And Hector and the Troy military were destroying the Greeks. The Greeks had no chance to penetrate that wall. Their defense was absolutely unstoppable. You could not penetrate them. They were that good. They were destroying them, right? To the point that the Greeks were going to pretty much not just retreat, because they did retreat, but they were going to go back home, right? And the worst thing possible happened, right? Because Achilles, debatably, and he is the greatest warrior at that time, was like, I ain't even trying to worry about this. I don't care about this war. My mom just told me if I go to war with the Troy army, I'm going to end up perishing, right? So what happened is his cousin came, which he probably shouldn't have came, felt some type of way and felt like so much pride in his heart. I don't want the Greeks to lose. So he put on Achilles' uniform, right? He moved like him. He walked like him. He even talked like him. That's what they were saying, right? And they mistaken Achilles was his cousin, and his cousin was was taking the Greek army to war against the Troy army, and Hector and so-called Achilles went to battle. He didn't know it was his cousin. He was under the uniform, under his helmet. You can't see the face. But the way he moved like Achilles. So Hector could not tell. So what happened is Hector destroyed his cousin, Achilles' cousin, and that's what turned the war around versus the Greeks and the Troy, because Achilles was so bold and so great at fighting. When he heard the news of a Hector destroying his cousin in battle, mistaking that it was him, Achilles was like, "What? You want to destroy my cousin?" I'm trying to be careful with the words I say, right? Trying to keep this PG. So Achilles, by himself, went to the wall of Troy and was yelling out Hector, calling out Hector. He said, "I want a fair one. Put your hands up. Put your dukes up." Not really. They had swords and all that. But y'all get what I'm trying to say. And Achilles fought Hector because Hector was brave and he was the best soldier for the Troy army. So he's not going to turn down no smoke. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't going to turn down no smoke. So they went at it. And what happened, it was a good battle. But Achilles got the best of him. And what happened from that point on is Achilles destroyed Hector. And he brought his body back to the Greeks' camp. And Priam, I believe Priam is the king of the Troy army. Somehow, some way, at night, he snuck into the camp of Achilles. And what happened from that point on was he went to Achilles, kissed him on both of his hands out of respect, and he talked. Somehow he persuaded Achilles to give him back Hector so Hector can have a proper burial. And one of the quotes was, I know Achilles said something like, "Yo, it just doesn't change anything. In the morning, you're still my enemy." And Priam, the king of Troy, said, "Tonight, you're still my enemy. But enemies can show respect." Yeah, I thought that was like one of the best points of the movie, man. I was like, wow. But go see that movie. But my whole point of this video is just like, football is fun. It's all fun. But like, this channel for me is to bring all fan bases together. No matter if you're cheering for the stinking Packers, if you're cheering for the Bears, you're cheering for the Lions, you're cheering for the stinking Cowboys, you're cheering for the Eagles, the Commanders, whatever team you're cheering for, Ravens, Browns, whatever. I feel like sports is to bring people together. And even if you're cheering for an opposing team, we can show respect to each other. That's all I got to say. Have a wonderful day. God bless. And I'm out. Mike Sports Vibes, thank you for vibing with me. Yeah. Mike Sports Vibes, thank you for vibing with me. I'ma talk that talk about the Sixers and the Vikings. I'ma talk that talk about the Sixers and the Vikings. Let's go. I really do this. I'm a hybrid fan. I'm a stand-up man. Yeah. They be hating on the squads, but they really a fan. I'ma talk that talk about the Sixers and the Vikings. I'ma talk that talk about the Sixers and the Vikings. Let's go.